Delaney, and this comes against the backdrop of some pretty significant developments on the investigation. Politico is now reporting that the Senate Intel Committee will get all of the Comey memos, or at least some of them, according to that report. And Paul Manafort, who is under FBI scrutiny and of interest to everyone looking into what Susan referenced, this examination of potential ties and connections between President Trump's campaign orbit and people around him and people around Vladimir Putin, is also now registered as an agent for pro-Russian political groups in the Ukraine, the kind of work that most people I know wouldn't take. So tell me what to make of both these developments on the investigation side.
Well, Nicole, we knew that Paul Manafort had done this work, of course, during the campaign, and Trump hired him anyway. We knew he had made millions of dollars. We didn't know how many millions, and now it appears that his firm is declaring $17 million in income, an enormous sum of money, for just 2 years of work for this pro-Russian party in Ukraine. And, you know, it raises a question of whether Manafort was so compromised when he went into the Trump campaign that, you know, the Russians saw a way to influence the Trump campaign through Manafort. And, you know, there's still questions being asked about that plank in the Republican Party platform around lethal aid to Ukraine. But just taking a step back in terms of, you know, we did a deep dive trying to answer the question at NBC News, what is Donald Trump doing to prevent the next Russian attack that his national security team tells him will come in 2018, because Russia hasn't been deterred at all from this behavior. And we couldn't come up with anything. Nobody inside the administration or out can point to a plan or a coherent set of steps that the Trump administration is taking to protect the election system, to deter Russian behavior, to go after fake news, any of that stuff, Nicole. They're just AWOL.
And Ken, what are you hearing about the pace of the investigation, both the Senate Intel Committee and the House Intel Committee's work and the Mueller investigation?
Well, you know, I think it may have settled into one of those phases. You know, special counsel investigations have taken on average like 2 years. Mm-hmm. So we're at the very beginning of this, and there's been a blizzard of news with Comey testifying and Sessions testifying. We may be entering into a period where there's less news on the surface that we're seeing, but a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes in terms of information gathering and fact gathering, and it may take some time to come to fruition, Nicole.
All right. Well, I'm sure that that's by design. We know Bob Mueller runs a tight ship. I know that from my days of working with him in the Bush administration. All right. Up next.